All right, Bo, you there?
I am here.
You want to give the rundown on the competitions, and we could start with that.
On the house giveaway or on the Saitama?
Do both, and and also the Miami conference, which
Oh yeah. So a lot of things to talk about tonight on a from a giveaway perspective. We are officially in the exhibiting at the Miami show, so we are going to be coming out with a raffle NFT. Will be coming out on Monday, so we'll start to get those out there, and the winner will get to gets hotel airfare, etc. While we're down at the Miami conference, to get to go around, see everything we've got going on. Of course, meet us as well in person for what's that for everything that's worth. And I know that that's kind of the biggest part of the prize for so many, especially my favorite stand-up fans out there. The house
well,
information.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that raffle is that those NFTs you can buy as many as you want. There's only, but there'll be a limited number, and that number is, you'll increase your chances of winning. So it's really, there's nothing else you have to do other than buy a pretty cool piece of art, numbered and limited, that you'll be able to drop into the Metaverse games and some of the other stuff that we're going to be doing as we build that out. So
That's true, but I do want to be clear about this. The number that comes out on the first day isn't going to be the total number. So the first day we'll have the first 50 out, just because the artist is working with us in different colors and things. So the first 50 will come out the first day, and then we'll have the rest coming out, in increments right after that. So we'll get through all that. The house now is officially up. I think everybody can go to the blog and see. If everybody hasn't seen it, KG or MK or Kloblobolus, if you guys want to throw that in the chat, you can take a look at the appraisal. You can take a look at the photos and and the other things. Like I've been saying leading up to this, it's like a $280,000 house in the North Houston area on a golf course, that a lot of good can be done for you, your family, whether or not that's necessarily the house you want to live in, or just a house you want to take over and sell, or the house you want to run as an Airbnb. It will be transferred free and clear to the winner of that contest. So that's a pretty nice that's a pretty nice contest. And then the last one is what the Trillion Saitama giveaway. That is still anybody's fight, as far as I can tell. That's within reach for a lot of people who are going after it, and there's certain people making small bites into it, and I'd say for the most part those are the guys who are probably and gals who are kind of making the most headway there. So it could be one big swing could come in and take over. So it's a bit of a horse race right now.
yeah,
Fun
we
to
have
watch.
I know we have probably 10 new affiliates or so signing up a day. But again, it's till people get acclimated. There's going to be new packages put up to make it easy. So a pretty simple package for affiliates to sell to to qualify and to win. So that's all on there too. That's something to look at in the store as we move forward.
Yeah, and so like I said, I mean, right now, I think as these contests usually go, it kind of gets left into the last week or so before everybody starts getting serious. So we've got, what's today, the 18th? I think another 12, 13 days, and then we're going to give somebody a Trillion Saitama. And I know that there's a lot of people who are in the wolf pack who are enthusiastic about it, and I think that, like I said from day one, if it stays where it is, it's a good prize. If they shave a 0 or 2, it's a fantastic price. So who's going to win it? That's my question.
Yeah, that and also of course just the trip to Miami as well is it's going to be great. You're going to stay at the Kimpton Epic. Is that what it is, Bill?
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so about 1,000 square foot suite. You get the gold passes, the NFT, and So that's going to be a great time
Oh,
too.
you
So,
also get tickets to the boat party, which
yeah,
I don't know if anybody's looked at that boat, but it's a pretty nice boat as far as giant boats go. And I
yeah,
imagine in Miami it'll be a pretty wild party.
yeah, yeah. That should be a good time. Um, we're working on some great stuff for the booth too. We'll see if we get it done in time. We're working on just our core business, venture cap, which you'll start to see a whole lot more of here in the next few days, couple weeks. As we complete making acquisitions and some projects that we're closing. But some of that involves some really great new tech, patented AR, and some stuff that we're working on now that is in the realm of possibility. So could be a really cool booth. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, it'll be a good time either way, and we're going to be given a bit of a rundown of what the club's all about and what the game plan is here moving out here into the future. So got a lot going on.
Yeah, thanks, KG, for throwing that up, and for all the work that you and the rest of the people have been helping out with on the Discord. Hopefully, everybody is starting to figure out that we're making some advances, kind of leaps and bounds in that department. A lot of that is KG and the other club members who are really kind of putting their shoulder to it. So we appreciate that. And next Monday, we're going to try to do this on what is it called? There's some kind of platform in Discord that we're going to
It's
do.
called Stage.
Yeah, okay. We're going to be on the stage where we're going to be able to be a little bit more proactive in the Q&A, and you won't have to listen to me quite as much, butcher your questions, and it'll be a little bit more open to the rest of the people, so we can get to know each other a little better. So that being said, Alfonso, do you want to get into anything else? We should have another. We did get to sit in on some more of the development of our metaverse development, which is exciting. Of course, we're in the process of doing a grid overlay system over the top of our island, and I'm like really over the moon excited about what we're seeing there from a development standpoint. What we're going to be able to do, kind of how that's going to lay out, and then of course. Like we've been talking about, how your ranking in different things are going to play into that, and then of course we'll open up for staking opportunities and other things for AWRT and some of the other club assets.
Yeah, absolutely. So that grid system is akin to the sandbox grids that you're used to, or if you're familiar with Overland and kind of how the apps work. But the difference is we're also building simultaneously, so you'll be able to see some of that as the I guess the new video comes out. We'll give you a little progress update. These aren't just that you could see that it's interactive, and it's not just pictures. It's really being built out so we can walk through it, and there can be a main street, and those main street shops and so forth can correspond with business use case. Potentially give bucks merchants and different partners that we have, and different clients on the AR side as well. So there's just a ton of things that are being built out on the tech side behind the scenes, and then on the VC side, of course we have HQ Express coming out in Velocity, with real world assets, and managing 250,000 square feet, under roof. So a ton of things happening, from that perspective over the next couple of weeks. So pretty exciting.
Alfonso, I hadn't thought about it until somebody brought it up to me, and so I think I want to bring it up now. Is some of the other things that we're doing outside of our own metaverse, but some of the stuff that we're doing in some of these others, it would be good to include in some of the metaverse videos and some of the things that we're doing. And like I said, I hadn't thought about that before, so I appreciate the person who brought that up. For what we're doing in Overland and Sandbox and Neo Tokyo and some of these other places. I think that was a very good idea that we should include that, in some of the videos going forward, so people get acclimated to what we're doing elsewhere.
Well, I'll tell you what we were trying to get done, and I don't know if we're going to pull this off or not, but we've got a project that we're doing in the AR space, and kind of like this mixed reality space, and it's a project where you can actually see the NFT, kind of sitting on your desk, with your naked eye, and see it in a 3D version, which is really cool. And anyway, what we were thinking of doing is figuring out how we can get our Neo Tokyo Citizen, to display, if that's possible yet. So we're working on a lot of different things that we're trying to cram into Miami. I know it's like it's a short fuse, but I think we'll have a pretty good display down there, and we probably will have some new business partnerships announced prior to that as well. So we're some pretty big deals, that'll be in that booth along with us. So it's going to be pretty exciting. But yeah, you're right. So in other words, we will be displaying some of the metaverse assets, things like that, and I think one of the things if you notice on the member section, there is in that metaverse section, I think that there's room for expansion to be able to list these assets and stuff, and people can see where we are and what we're looking at. And of course, one of the things that you don't know probably is that because of our level of citizen and the I guess the level of assets that we own in some of these projects, we're able to sit in on some of the higher level conversations that just regular owners and investors can't listen to. So we're able to get into the top tiers of closed rooms and listen to planning and kind of get the download on a lot of topics that the general public are excluded from, and that goes from the promotion side all the way to the tech side and the gaming side. So pretty cool, those things. So yeah, we will post that stuff up because it's kind of like showing a Lambo,
Yeah, well, I think on top of that, I think it gets people excited about the other things that we're doing that are maybe more in line with what other people have invested in, that sort of thing. Like I said, I hadn't thought about it until somebody brought it up, and I thought, well, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm going to bring that up tonight, and we'll see what we can include in the next series of things that come out here. So.
Yeah, I think we should just plan on having it be a section of some type of a section of of the new site as it's built out, where people can kind of see that in real time. That reminds me, so essentially that's all. We'll be able to post that, and you'll be able to see it. I don't know if we would post it in a wallet perspective. I guess you'd see it visually. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think even if screenshots or something, for starters, and then have the character or something, that would be.
Yeah, well, we'll work through that. So yeah, so that is to that point, we have one of the things that as we're building this stuff out, sometimes people forget too is that we're primarily focused on the venture cap side. So we're partnering with some of these projects, and we're working with some of these development teams in the AR space, so that we can have a piece of the business for the club as well. So it's not just we're buying the crypto or participating in the blockchain assets. We're also participating as a club in the in the future development and the future success of those projects. So we'll explain all of that as we go down through here, and we'll get a little better at listing all that, as you will see when in the new website as it comes out. Each token is going to have its own landing page, basically similar to AWRT, and its own social and so forth as it moves forward. So you'll be able to see kind of a compartmentalized approach to what assets are sitting where and for what utility. that token is, really built for. So, as we move down through, you'll see that the bulk of this stuff is aimed toward fundamental C corps that are being developed for real business. So the tokens are utility in that business, of course, and the NFTs are in some cases assets, art, and of course we've talked a million times about the fact that that we believe NFTs are perfect for core, kind of like the traditional business contracts that will be able to be applied, stored, and transferred in the on the blockchain and in the metaverse. So that's where we're going. That's what that's kind of where we're heading. And like Bo had mentioned too, things like patents and royalties and those types of returns are
other things along those lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Hint, hint, breadcrumb.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so that's the core business, and you'll see a whole lot more of that too. So there'll be sections on the Discord and stuff added for businesses and VC as well, and capital. But it's a little boring to most people, and as we're as we're as we're adding kind of this fun stuff, as well, and adding people for affiliate marketing and stuff, we didn't want it to be front and center, but it is, as always, the core of AWB. The main pillar of what we're doing here, which is that return on on the new projects that we do, and that's going to range anywhere from the new movie deals that we're doing and royalties that are built into that, and all the way to the financial contracts that we have built into bridge loans, and so forth, built into the FOTC tokens and such. So we'll explain all that, and why it is that the AWB token, is always going to be a solid value, regardless of the shakeouts that are happening now. Going into the next couple of days and couple of weeks, you'll start to see why, so, and that goes for AWRT too, because again, that's our utility, across the board. So you'll see as the games roll out, as Shadow Fighter and the competitions roll out, and, as, ways to spend AWRT, convert AWRT into other opportunities, get presented, you'll start to realize the utility and really why current levels are such bargain basement price points. So, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, we when you look at again, but I mean, I don't like to talk about the price points and so forth, obviously. But a $400 million market cap in a project, like AWB is a no-brainer. I mean, we're talking about multiple crypto, blockchain, AR, VR platforms, and bringing things like HQ Express and and that build out into the into the marketplace, which any one of those companies is standalone on its own. We could put together with patents and in a pubco, and go out there with Reg CF or do whatever from that standpoint, and build them out individually. But instead, what we're doing is we're putting it into this club. So this model works. We already know it works. You just have to kind of take a deep breath and be a little patient, because it's only been a couple months, as we're building not just the club for you, but the ability to have you be able to earn as well without having to sell. And that's kind of the point. So all that is we're doing all that and the core business on a daily basis. So which involves again, like things like those movie deals and the bridge loans and everything else that we're working on. So there's nothing indicated from anything that we've seen in our game plan that says that anything that we need to change anything. Everything looks good to me, and I think ultimately the upside is really solid. So
Yeah, and again, we are in kind of a back and forth phase on some other contracts like you're alluding to that again from a breadcrumb perspective are going to be huge, and what we're talking about doing with the NFTs and the films and the and all of that going forward. And I mean, just different token offerings, and as we open up the exchange then to other companies and how people can participate in all of that. I mean, there's just a lot going on. But something that you touched on that I'm not sure everybody maybe is entirely up to speed on is we should have the new site here out pretty shortly. We had a good dry run through it today. There's some things functionally between the old system and the new system that we're still working out, but from a display perspective and from a design perspective, it's running very smooth. So it just last few items, last few hiccups, and then maybe a few development hours. But I'm always going to oversimplify that. To me, everything in tech is copy and paste. But I'm told I'm often wrong on that. So, but I'm really excited about the new sites. I'm also excited about these new landing pages as they come out. I think it's going to be important for people to be able to suss out the one asset from the other. I know sometimes when you look at the big picture, and this is always the case when you've got venture capital involved, it's like, wait a minute, you guys are in scrap metal and recycling, but you're also in Amiga games and some of these poker games and whatnot, and so maybe the message gets a little confused at those things. So I think the new sites and the new landing pages, the new white papers, I think is going to help some of that connective tissue so that people understand better
It
what
is. It is for sure. And like the most important part to think of it, the reason why it gets confusing is because if you look at it as, okay, this is just a regular crypto project, it might get confusing. But what you have to think of is, what in the past fund might have looked like. So consider hedge fund meets crypto lifestyle, and the fact that instead of doing these things in a general partnership or in a hedge fund structure, we're bringing these projects to the club in something that's somewhat novel, and the structures that we're building out are important, relative to an investment strategy over time. So each thing that we're involved with, from the inflationary hedge with precious metals, with the scrap token, all the way to essentially what is the rewards, and old terminology, might think of it as a dividend token with AWB, although we don't use those words. And then the AWRT, which is really the gas, for everything metaverse and gaming. These things have a purpose in how the club operates, structurally, from a reward basis, and kind of weighting your risk profile, that eventually we'll get to explain a little bit more, and kind of where people would want to be, and we keep meaning to talk about that trading and building your portfolios and so forth, and we will get to that, I promise. We'll have days for just that, trading, and we're going to have days for just explaining what this new Discord does, and we'll have days for explaining the metaverse and everything else. But
part of that is you're going to hear new voices coming in, right? I mean, but people like Kalopoulos and KG and those guys are going to be able to explain the Discord functions far better than you or I will be able to, and other ones of our partners will do a great job on some of the things, trading and even their own explanation, like Ken and some other things. We are going to get better at that. We are going to bring more voice, so people don't have to just hear from us.
Well, so that's what everybody. So, and again, and that's all part of the vision, right? So, so the club is that the club is this, kind of these pillars of, of diversification, coupled with the underlying asset value, right? So we're not just creating a token for the hell of it and putting and sponsoring something irrelevant, for likes and clicks and getting people amped up. Underneath this is not just a utility for for the crypto world and a utility for for the blockchain or even a DApp. This is underlying businesses that add real balance sheet value. I think over time, and that value needing the token to it just basically flips the valuation perspective, and changes that relationship between because again, we're not a security, right? Like these tokens that people are involved with are not securities, and instead there's like an inversion of the balance sheet relationship, which is valuable over time. And the interesting thing is, everything is built on an underlying core business, that has, again, is time to market, not a startup, and has real world application. So the question then becomes, how do we apply mixed reality to, to these real world businesses? So take, for example, HQ Express, which is one of the projects coming soon. There you have geolocated, overland assets that are tied to the metaverse, but at the same time, you have a real 250,000 square foot warehouse that's industrial flex space that's building a brand and a business that can be replicated not just in Pennsylvania in 250,000 square feet, but all over the country, in industrial flex. So instead of
and again, I mean that's 250,000 square feet, but not 250,000 cubic feet, which is how we're going to be measuring that. So we're still talking about that as though like, oh hey, this is, I mean, and it is a big building, but it's going to get a heck of a lot bigger when you start measuring the cubic feet that are available in that space, right? I mean that to me is where this gets interesting, because you're stacking high as well as deep, at that point.
Well, not just stacking, but it also becomes, a cubic. It's basically the cubic utility that becomes the backbone of the crypto that's being rolled out. So,
Exactly.
so that's the value. And anyway, so that's just one example. The other examples are, of course, how we actually, can put product into the metaverse that can be purchased virtually but shipped physically, and owned in both, right? And so there's a ton of application that maybe we're not the best at putting out in the forefront so everybody knows about it, out of the gate. We're not very promotional when it comes to that. We're more on the business side, looking at the fundamentals of the returns of, the bridge loans and, what these companies owe us on the back end, and, how that, translates into value for every single token holder. That's our core business. That's what we do. But we will get better at relaying that to the general public. And so I think what you're going to see here as as some of the core milestones are reached, tech rate, for example, Amirex and so forth, and then serious marketing and press release work, and and so forth. So all this stuff is going to tighten up from a perspective of being able to relay it, to the general public so that they understand. But for everybody here, and at the same time, we're also trying to make it, we're also trying to simplify it, so that somebody can go in and say, well, I'm only interested in AWRT because I just don't understand everything else. So I would be an affiliate and I'd like to win Satama, or I'd like to win a trip, but I don't really want to understand everything or go to class, to understand why I should care about this, why I should diversify and own, 25 different startups instead of, or startup tokens anyway, instead of just one. they just want to focus on, okay, how do I sell AWRT? Well, we want to make that possible too. So we're kind of in the process of all that, and that's what you're seeing change. So when you see, everything get its own landing pages, everything kind of, it's all able to be broken away, and grow on its own, which is the point. So everything incubates, over time, like USHX, getting its own Discord and moving on to the next phases, and so forth. So,
Giving away a house.
giving away a house, doing, and then doing that monthly, and, and then, building out the new app and so forth. So there's just, there's a ton of that stuff that'll come into sharper focus, as we move forward. But, just know, I mean, it's always going to seem like, there's a lot of different projects, that we're involved with, a lot of different things that we're involved with, because, on one of them, we might only make a few $1,000,000, and on the next one, we might make a few $100 million, and that's what, the club's about. We want to have, we want to have diversity, and a lot of different projects that we think have legs that are time to market, not startup, time to market, stuff that we can put money into for marketing and to grow a proven business plan. And then, our club members benefit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think in a way, right? I mean, it's really growing and people understanding that at any given time, right? It seems like a lot because there is a lot. I mean, that there is a lot going on. That's why it seems like there's a lot going on. So, if you could, real quick, KG, just threw it into the chat, and I think it's a good question. Has the 100 billion been thrown into the burn bucket, into the burn pile just yet? I know we were talking doing that maybe immediately after the call, but
yeah. So what we're doing is, we had, so the way this works is you create that wallet, and then you tell Etherscan which wallet it is. So I think that we figured out how to do it. So I think what's happening is that after this, before midnight, we'll be moving that 100 billion tokens of AWRT into the burn wallet, and we'll let you know what wallet that is, so everybody can take a look at it, and then Etherscan should register it in some way, shape, or form. So, and I don't know exactly what Etherscan does, but and we only communicate with them via email. And I don't know how long they take, but you'll be able to see the wallet, and you'll be able to see the 100 billion, and then you'll be able to track it all tonight.
Yeah. So, and then Tim, to answer your question on the mobile app, that's going to be a little bit of a on the development horizon, but on the new website is definitely more mobile friendly. So that is going to be much cleaner, much fewer steps between each page and all that kind of stuff. So that just it'll be mobile optimized, for sure. So.
Yeah, and there's as part of that mobile stuff, we have a lot of things changing for the exchange too. I think I mentioned before, we're going to have affiliate capabilities there with new badges, where people can earn different levels and refer people for trading, and get paid for the people that they've referred, on a continual residual basis. So another way to get paid, for being a member. So that's coming soon too. I think it might be Sunday to Monday. That's when usually most of these changes happen. So always check the exchange on a Monday morning when you wake up, because usually that's when we make those upgrades and changes.
So are we anticipating that? Because otherwise, if we don't tell people, then on Sunday night, we're going to get a bunch of stuff in the Discord that says, hey, the exchange is down. Anybody have any idea why?
Yeah, no, we anticipate that Sunday to, yeah.
All right, good. So now you know. So anybody who sees that comment in the middle of the night between Sunday and Monday, you'll know why that's happening. And if you could pass it along to other people who don't listen to the Discord or the AMAs, would appreciate it. That's if we don't see it first. Okay. Am I missing anything? I think USHX should have its own token landing page up here shortly. They're also getting their new landing page for their company up and going here any moment now. I spoke to Mario just before this call. Sounds like they're having some issues with the API and tying in something, but they should have that wrapped up here momentarily. And I think over the weekend or Monday they should have the new site up there.
Yeah, and then we've got a ton of stuff going on, and then it seems like there's little glitches. And I hate tech, not the individuals, but the process, because it just seems to never be smooth. But that's part of the process here is we're building, like, even the metaverse build and stuff is all cutting edge. So it's really they are kind of trying new things in real time. But we should see Shadow Fighter and games and things like that happen over the weekend too. I think wasn't that the time frame, Bo? Or was it Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Someday. It's going to be someday soon.
But we're also looking at being able to directly integrate these games into the metaverse as well. So we might have some interactive portions of the metaverse ready shortly. For things like the Amiga arcade and stuff, just to, I think, get started. So, all these things are in process, and that's actually that side, which you would think would be the slower side, is actually moving really, really fast and really well. I mean, some of the stuff you'll see in the video when we get it, some of these new developments are just great, as we move forward.
Yeah, in a way, right? I mean, developing, the secret of Monkey Island, the Melee Island, and some of the other assets in there from the ground up has been. I don't even want to say has been smooth because I don't want to jinx it, but it has really been going really, really quickly. And then the overlay on that, and then how we're going to play, the staking opportunities and some of the other things, AWRT. Against some of that stuff is really going to be cool. And then, like you mentioned earlier, Alfonso, the integration of real life assets with metaverse assets with some of the interchangeability and back and forth I think is as cutting edge as anything else I've seen out there. So
yeah, it's awesome. It really is. I mean, and then of course, there's all kinds of charitable integration and a lot that we can do there, which we will be doing, and we can play that with the metaverse and also with the NFTs and so forth. So there's a lot we're doing.
And in that light, I mean, if everybody on wants to just go through the Discord and take a look at the different channels and different things that have opened up. KG, I don't know if we've opened up all that stuff to everybody or if that's just on the development side, but like some of the things like the charity chat, we've been loading a bunch of pictures and videos and different things there so people can see. I know that's something that people have asked for before. And like we said, we're going to do better on social with that and here on the Discord, but having like a cutting edge token, like integrating that with the folks not getting enough water can be a little bit of a tricky balancing act from a design perspective.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard just from our core business perspective, right? It's hard to go and talk about Lambos and the metaverse and, all the cool NFT stuff that we're building and then turn around and say, and here's the balance sheet for this building and why it's better than WeWork. It's a little tough, to explain to people. And that's because, we're right on the edge of change, right? We're right on the edge of Web3 and 5G and interconnectivity, the Internet of Things, augmented reality and mixed reality. And unfortunately, the bulk of humanity doesn't realize that it's already happened. This is not a maybe someday it's going to. It already has. It's just a matter of, again, time to market. We want to be, in the front of that as a club, not just from our investment, portfolio and from our tokens and so forth, but also, from our own tech. So we're trying to get with the companies that have the patents, even if some of the people playing in the space don't realize that they have it, and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't mesh, with the overall. Sometimes it doesn't mesh with the same vision. So that's why we're branding. I guess branding is the right word. So that's why everything's segmented out, and I think that having it split, on one hand, we can get together and talk about the charitable work and so forth. And then on the other hand, we can get together and talk about conferences and Lambos and, cool, NFTs that can walk around, that you can watch, in your living room, which is, pretty cool.
No,
So
full on front and center, concerts and other things. Conferences. I mean, access to things that nobody before today's day and time could have dreamed about. Frankly, you probably would have been locked up in a loony bin to have even talked about this 20 years ago.
Oh yeah. Some of these demos and stuff with some of the new partners are just amazing, and we've actually moved forward with 3 new NFT partners and developers, and new tech for some kind of gamified experiences where you guys will be able to win, cool stuff here as club members moving forward using AWRT and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff that's closed that will be announced, over the next few days, or you'll start to see it, as well, and then, really, one that we're going to try to do is just have separate breakout, AMAs for each of these things, and again, like Bo said, you'll hear different voices on these calls, because we're moving toward, this is a big push toward our decentralization, right? So that, we're really functioning as a club and functioning, as a group of, I guess you want to call it like-minded individuals moving forward here, clubbing up for the future. And so you'll get to hear from all of these people some of them are super passionate about charitable work and, all those opportunities. And that's why we wanted to make that available and broken out. And some people who will be talking about Metaverse, and other people who will be focused on, kind of the more boring stuff, like it was where, I would probably best fit, which is the VC world, and and kind of new projects that are on the horizon. And I'd love to be able to get to the point where we're discussing new projects before we even decide to close them. Because right now, of course, we're doing all that stuff, kind of by executive order. But we are moving toward decentralization, and we want to move toward democratization and DAO. And I think there's a huge opportunity there. We keep trying to have conversations with some companies that execute some of that voting technology and so forth, by holder level and so forth, where we might be able to integrate some of their tech, with what we're doing. But
From my perspective, that's really that's as good a reason as any to go to some of these conferences and things, because at those you can actually sit down and have 10 minutes to talk to somebody. I know it's a crazy old fashioned idea, but actually talk to a human one-on-one for a few minutes and just kind of work out and iron out some of the issues where you're not bouncing back and forth off of email and Twitter. And everybody's crazy busy today trying to get things done before whatever the next market or cataclysmic world event or whatever the next thing that distracts everybody. So
yeah. Of course, we're following all that regulations and and so forth too. So picking the right jurisdictions for the future, for server locations and different things, because as we move towards decentralization, we still do have so much centralized, and I mean, all this is a series of steps until the tech catches up to the goal, which is I think anyway. So just so you understand, all that's on the horizon, and we're always wide open. If you come to us and say, hey, I'm really good at this, I think you'll find that we'll say, great, you're hired. and of course, we choose from our club members,
First, yeah.
from a very weighted perspective. So anyway, so that's I think all that's going really well, and and you're going to see all those changes here and announcements, over the next few days. Any other questions, Bill?
Okay. Looks like that burn wallet address got sent over. So looks like that's moving ahead. So that's good.
All right. Yep. So that'll be a theoretical 10% increase in your overall valuation, and if not more, weighted over time, depending on how you look at it. I don't know. I mean, I think that if there aren't any other questions, Bo, I mean, I think that's.
Oh, that's it. It's Friday. It's Friday night, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's call it. You don't need us to put you to bed on Friday night. Maybe Monday and Wednesday, not Friday.
Does anybody? And I hope everybody felt bad for me this morning having to cut all that wood before I got out of. I don't know if anybody even saw that. I decided to put a video up of how my morning started.
Yeah, you're along with your Dr. Dyer quotes, which is always welcome.
Well, don't get me started.
Zen in the art of wood chopping.
Yeah, I'll throw a Dyer quote up a day. I'll challenge anybody to beat me with that. I'm good at that. I can get into Castaneda. I could get it. We could do this all day.
But for everybody else's sake, I'm gonna just put a bolt in this one. So,
All right. Have a good night, guys.
all right, everybody, have a good one.